I never meant to see the message. Her phone was face down on the nightstand, buzzing with a kind of insistence that makes silence louder. It was close to midnight, and she was in the shower, steam spilling under the door, humming softly to herself the way she always did when she thought I was asleep. I wasn't. When the screen lit up, it painted the room in a pale, blue-white glow. Just a second, I told myself. Just a glance. I didn't even have to touch it. The preview was right there. Can't wait to feel you again. Same hotel? Jay. For a few seconds, my mind didn't register what I'd read. It was like a foreign language wearing her life. My throat tightened, heart punching against my ribs. I stayed until the message dimmed, as if that would erase it. Then I put the phone back exactly how I found it. The water stopped. Panic rushed through me, irrational and hot. I lay back down, closed my eyes, tried to slow my breathing. She came out wrapped in a towel, skin damp and flushed from the steam. "You're still up?" she asked, her voice light. "Practiced. Couldn't sleep." She smiled faintly, crossing the room to grab her lotion. The scent hit me, lavender and vanilla, her nightly ritual. I used to love that smell. Now it coated my throat like poison. She sat on the edge of the bed, rubbing lotion into her legs, scrolling her phone. "You should try melatonin," she said. "You've been restless lately." Restless? The word hung in the air, ironic enough to make me want to laugh or scream. "Yeah," I said. "Maybe." When she turned off the lamp and slid in beside me, I felt her warmth against my shoulder. She sighed contentedly, one arm draping across my chest. The same touch that once grounded me now made my skin crawl. Sleep didn't come. My thoughts ran in jagged loops. Who was Jay? How long had this been happening? Was I imagining it? Could it be work-related? Maybe a colleague. Maybe a joke. But I'd seen that phrasing before. Can't wait to feel you again. There was no misunderstanding that. The next morning, I got up early, pretending to check emails while she packed for her trip. Chicago this time. A conference. 4 days. She'd been taking more of these trips lately, always polished and professional, always representing the company. She came downstairs in a tailored black dress, hair swept up, suitcase by the door. I watched her pour coffee, casual, humming that same tune. "You're quiet," she said, glancing at me. "Just tired." She leaned in, kissed me lightly on the cheek. "Don't work too hard while I'm gone." Her lipstick left a faint mark on my skin, soft red, like evidence. After she left, the house felt wrong. Too clean, too staged. 20 years of marriage, and I suddenly didn't know which parts were real. I went through the motions, brushed teeth, showered, dressed, but every move felt automated, detached from thought. At work, everything looked the same. My desk, my coffee mug, the faint hum of fluorescent lights. But under it, something had cracked. Every interaction felt brittle. I couldn't focus. My company's CEO, James Turner, called me into his office mid-morning. Tall, silver-haired, confident. A man who smiled with his teeth but not his eyes. "Daniel," he said, gesturing to the chair opposite him. "We need to finalize the Q4 numbers before Friday." His voice was calm, smooth, the kind that carried authority effortlessly. I nodded, half listening, trying to remember every mention my wife had ever made of him. "Turner. Jay, could it?" No, it couldn't. He was her boss, yes, but that didn't mean. Everything all right? Turner asked suddenly, eyes narrowing. "Yeah," I said too quickly. "Just a long night." He smiled, that polished corporate smile that revealed nothing. We all have them. I left his office with the uneasy feeling of being watched. At lunch, I called her, straight to voicemail. She always answered before flights. I texted, "Did you land yet?" No reply. That night, I poured a drink, sat by the window, and scrolled through old photos on my phone, anniversaries, vacations, her smile framed in sunlight. I tried to remember the first time she lied to me. I couldn't. Maybe I hadn't wanted to see it. Maybe I'd built my life around not seeing. The next morning, I checked her location, a small, guilty habit. Chicago Merritt downtown. My stomach twisted. That was the same hotel she'd stayed at last time. The same hotel. I shouldn't have done it, but I called the front desk, pretending to be her husband, which, of course, I was. "Good morning," I said. "My wife, Emily Harris, checked in yesterday. I'm trying to confirm her room number. She forgot her medication." "I'm sorry, sir, but we can't disclose." "I understand," I said, keeping my voice calm. "Could you at least confirm she's checked in?" A pause. The soft click of a keyboard. "Yes, sir, she's here." I hung up before my voice could betray me. The next day, she texted, "Long day. Meetings ran late. Call tomorrow?" "Meetings. Sure." I stared at the screen until the words blurred. I wanted to ask, to accuse, to shout, but something stopped me. Fear, maybe. Not just fear of the truth, but of what it would make me. When she came home, 4 days later, she smelled faintly of unfamiliar cologne. She kissed me again, that same soft mark on the cheek. "How was the trip?" I asked. "Exhausting," she said, tossing her heels aside. "You have no idea how long those sessions go." I smiled tightly. "You could tell me about them." She hesitated, just for a heartbeat, then launched into a story about a presentation, a dinner, a networking mixer. It sounded rehearsed, every beat placed carefully. That night, I woke to the sound of her phone buzzing again. I didn't look this time. I didn't have to. I already knew. Still, the next morning, I checked her messages while she was in the shower. The last text read, "I miss you already." From James Turner. I froze. Not Jay. Not anonymous. James. My boss. The man who'd shaken my hand that morning, asked if everything was all right. The man who'd smiled while sleeping with my wife. The sound that came out of me wasn't human. A low, broken thing. I dropped the phone, gripping the edge of the sink. My reflection in the mirror looked unfamiliar pale, hollow-eyed, someone mid-collapse. When she came out of the bathroom, towel around her hair, she saw the phone on the counter. The look on her face told me everything. Shock, guilt, then something else, resignation. "Daniel," I stepped back, throat burning. "How long?" She didn't answer. The silence was its own confession. "Tell me," I said, my voice shaking. "How long has it been him?" She opened her mouth, then closed it again. Finally, a year. Maybe a little more. A year. 12 months of smiles, lies, flights, and hotel rooms. A year of me thinking she was tired, stressed, overworked, and it was him. My knees nearly gave out. I grabbed the doorframe to steady myself. "Why?" I whispered. She started crying, the kind of tears that looked practiced, not performative, but familiar. "It wasn't supposed to happen, Daniel." He made me feel seen again. "I didn't mean to hurt you." I laughed, sharp and bitter. "You didn't mean to hurt me? You just didn't care enough not to." Her face crumpled. "It's not that simple." "Then make it simple." She couldn't. She didn't. The rest of that day was a blur. Her crying, me pacing, questions bleeding into accusations, memories turning into weapons. By nightfall, I was sitting alone in the dark again, staring at the walls we'd painted together, the photos of vacations now mocking me from their frames. 20 years, and I didn't know who she was. Or maybe I never had. She moved out the next day. Not because I asked her to, but because she knew I couldn't look at her without shaking. She packed quietly, deliberately, like someone gathering evidence before trial. Every zipper, every drawer closing was a small betrayal in sound. I didn't help her. I just sat at the kitchen table, staring at the wood grain, memorizing the silence between us. When she came to say goodbye, she hesitated at the door. "I'll give you time," she said softly. "Time won't change what you did." Her eyes glossed with tears that I didn't trust. "I still love you, Daniel." I almost laughed. Instead, I nodded once and watched her walk out, suitcase wheels bumping over the threshold. The front door shut, and with it, 20 years of habit and illusion collapsed into air. That night, I didn't eat, didn't drink, just sat in the living room with a single lamp on, surrounded by the ghosts of her, coffee mugs, throw blankets, the faint scent of a perfume on the couch. I kept waiting for anger to come cleanly, like fire, but it didn't. It came in waves, sharp, then dull, then back again, each one leaving me more hollow. The next morning, I went to work because I didn't know what else to do. I needed normalcy, or at least the illusion of it. People greeted me the same way they always did. No one knew that I was unraveling. Turner's assistant called me to his office just after noon. I walked in, heart hammering so loudly it made me dizzy. He was standing by the window, back to me, hands in his pockets. "Daniel," he said, without turning, "I heard Emily took some personal time." His voice was calm. Too calm. "Yes." He turned then, that perfect CEO smile in place, as if we were just two professionals discussing a project. "I'm sorry to hear that. Everything all right at home?" For a second, I saw it, the flicker of guilt behind his eyes, buried deep but unmistakable. A small tightening around the mouth. He was good at hiding it. She probably was too. "Fine," I said. "We're fine." He nodded slowly, studying me. "You've always been one of our most reliable people, Daniel. I value that. I hope whatever's going on, you manage to keep things steady." That was it. The corporate threat wrapped in empathy. Don't bring your personal disaster to the office. I smiled back, an expression that hurt my face. "Of course." When I left his office, I went straight to the restroom and vomited. That night, Emily called. Her voice sounded small through the phone, like it had to travel through fog. "I didn't mean for you to find out like that," she said. "I suppose you had a better plan." "No, She paused. "I didn't know how to end it. With him or with me?" Silence. Then, "Both." The honesty cut deeper than a lie. "Does he love you?" I asked. "I don't know. Maybe. It's complicated." I wanted to scream. To ask how it could possibly be complicated to betray someone who gave you half their life. But instead, I said nothing. The silence stretched until she whispered, "I'm sorry," and hung up. Weeks passed like that. Work, sleep, wake, repeat. People stopped asking where Emily was. My house became a museum of her absence. I stopped checking my phone for messages I didn't want to read. Then, one Thursday, Turner called another meeting. All department heads. I sat near the back, his voice a distant hum against the blood in my ears. I watched him talk about company growth, quarterly goals, expansion plans. He was polished, charismatic, magnetic, the kind of man who could sell you on reflection and make you thank him for it. When the meeting ended, he walked by me, gave a small nod. For a moment, I imagined standing up, saying it aloud, "You slept with my wife." Watching the perfect room crack open. Watching him fall from that immaculate height. But I didn't. I couldn't. I just watched him leave. Later that night, I got another message. Not from Emily. From a number I didn't recognize. "Daniel, we need to talk. Please." It was her. A new number. I didn't answer at first, but something, curiosity, weakness, maybe still love, made me call her an hour later. She answered on the first ring. "I can't do this anymore," she said. Her voice trembled. "He's ending it. He says it's too risky." "Good for him," I said. "I thought he cared about me," she whispered. You thought he'd leave everything for you." Her silence was confirmation. "I guess you finally know what betrayal feels like," I said. "That's not Faye." "Faye!" I almost laughed. "You destroyed our marriage for a man who saw you as a complication. Don't do this, Daniel." "I'm not doing anything. You did it all." She started crying, and I hung up. My hands shook so hard I could barely set the phone down. The next morning, the news broke. CEO James Turner under investigation for workplace misconduct. The headline read, "Anonymous sources. Allegations of an affair with a subordinate." Emily's name wasn't mentioned, but I didn't need it to be. Everyone in the company would know. Everyone would guess. By noon, whispers had replaced phone calls. Turner's office door stayed closed. HR summoned people quietly, one by one. When they called me in, I half expected to be accused of something too. "Daniel," the HR manager said gently, "we understand this may be difficult for you, given your connection." My connection. She hesitated. "To Emily Harris." I stared at her. What exactly do you think my connection is? I just mean, if you need time off or support. I don't need anything, I said. When I left, Turner's door was open. He was sitting behind his desk, tie loosened, face gray. Our eyes met through the glass. Neither of us spoke. I saw, for the first time, the fear in him, the unraveling of control. That night, I went home and opened a bottle of bourbon we'd been saving for our anniversary. I poured a glass, then another. The alcohol burned, but it felt clean, like sterilizing a wound. Around midnight, there was a knock at the door. Emily. Her eyes were red, makeup smeared. They are firing him, she said. He's denying everything. I didn't even. Daniel, I never thought it would end like this. I said nothing. She stepped closer. Can we just talk? Please. I let her in. She stood there in the kitchen, trembling, small as somehow. I lost everything, she whispered. I poured another drink, handed it to her. No, I said quietly. You gave it away. She set the glass down, untouched. Do you still hate me? I looked at her for a long time. No, I said finally. I hate who you turned me into. Her lip quivered. What do you mean? I can't stop picturing it. You and him. Every time I close my eyes. It's not just anger. It's infection. It's in everything now. She started to cry again. I wish I could take it back. So do I said. We stood there, the silence between us thick and permanent. When she left for the last time, she didn't say goodbye. Just a soft click of the door and footsteps fading into rain. I stayed there for a long time, listening to the sound. Then I walked upstairs, opened the closet, and started packing what was left of her. Each item, shirt, perfume bottle, framed photo, went into a box like evidence at a crime scene. By the time I finished, dawn had started bleeding through the curtains. I sat on the edge of the bed, watching the light spread across the floor. 20 years. Gone. Not in a single moment, but in 1,000 small ones I never noticed. When the phone buzzed again hours later, I didn't look. I turned it off, set it face down, and let the silence return. For the first time, it didn't scare me. It almost felt like peace.